What's up, guys? Justin Thomas here. First off, I want to thank everybody for submitting their questions to Titleist. They've gone through them, and looks like they've given me 15 questions to answer. And again, thank you very much. So let's get to it. This first one is from Brent Wells. What are you doing during the hiatus from golf to stay tournament ready? It's been a pretty bizarre couple weeks, and we have quite a bit of time left, but the most important thing is I'm getting a lot of sleep, which is nice, but I'm just trying to stay in shape. You know, with gyms closing and golf courses closing, you have to, kind of make shift some stuff around. One of the courses I belong to is still open, so I'll go out and play every once in a while, but not very much golf, more so fitness, eating right, whether it's doing stuff around the house, but a lot of sleep and a lot of playing with my dog. That's about it. Next one is from @B_rad.harris. My favorite club in my bag. But that changes every week. Hopefully the putter, because that means I'm putting well and things are going well, but I've had many days where the putter doesn't cooperate, and I've had many days where all 14 clubs don't cooperate, so whichever one's on that day, I'll go with that. Next one is @Stephen.Brown2013. Where does winning the national championship rank among all of your wins? It's up there. It's so different because it was a team event. Being in college, it was before I'd obviously done anything at the professional level, but it was so much fun. I mean, I'll never forget, being able to share that moment with my teammates and coaches and families and friends. It was in Atlanta, so it wasn't very far from Tuscaloosa, and we had a very, very difficult road to get to the finals, and we did so and played a very good Illinois team. And I was the only one to actually put up a loss that day on our team. Thank you, Thomas Peters. But no, it was great. I mean, I'll never forget, after I heard we won, I dropped my bag. I was one down on 18, dropped my bag, and I ran back to 15 green, where Corey or Stroby was kind of at the same time, had just clinched us winning the national championship. So I'm running, and Trey's running down 17, and we kind of see each other from about 100 yards away. And instead of kind of meeting where we were going, we both just kind of turned toward each other and just jumped into each other's arms. And he's a lot bigger than I am, so he almost knocked me over. But no, it's just a memory I'll never forget. Next question is from @Peterson_Emil. How often do you switch your wedges? That's kind of, it changes honestly every year. I mean, I use a Vokey pitching wedge, so that and my gap wedge, my 52.5 degree, I don't change as often because those are clubs I want to take spin off with, most likely. I don't want fresh grooves, every month or so. I want to be able to control the ball going into the green. Obviously, I don't want, no grooves. So I probably change those once, twice a year. 56, anywhere 2 to 4 times, 3 to 5, probably 2 to 4. We'll go 2 to 5 times a year. But 60 degree, I change quite a bit. It's something, usually when you have a 60 degree in your hand, you need a lot of spin. So that's something I want to make sure the grooves are fresh. Pretty much I'll get one before every major, just to, the greens are usually a little firmer, faster, and longer rough. So anything that has more spin around the greens or hitting into the greens is usually helpful. So I probably change that one, I'll go 8 to 10 times a year. Sorry, AD and Vokey for that one. All right, next question is @_Angela Francis. You can only use 5 clubs at the Masters. Go. Wow. I'm going to start with definitely I'll go putter, 3-wood, a 5-iron, an 8-iron, a sand wedge, and a putter. That's all we need. We got it all covered there. Next question is @JScottBrazel. What win stands out the most of all your wins and why? That's tough. I mean, I'm fortunate to have a couple to choose from, but they all have such separate meanings and they're all so special. I mean, I care obviously about all of them, but it's what I've enjoyed the most about, the last couple of years is winning different ways. And, sometimes I remember a couple of years ago, or in 2017 in Korea, winning without my best stuff and being exhausted and mentally just fatigued, but my caddy Jimmy keeping me mentally strong and keeping myself mentally strong enough to get the tournament done and finish off the job. And once we got into that playoff, I didn't think I was going to be able to make it. My legs were about to give out, but to stay in it and get it done, sometimes that at the time is just as good of a win as winning the PGA. But that being said, I think I'm going to have to give the PGA Championship the edge for obvious reasons. That was a special one. All right, the next one we have is, and I apologize if I don't say your last name correctly, Andrew DeFilippo. JT, what's your best advice for high school golfers and junior golfers? This is a question I love to get just because I feel like advice is good, but it can also be bad because you can get it from so many different angles, and sometimes at a young age it's tough to comprehend it all. I mean, even at 26 years old, I get stuff thrown at me all the time and I have to realize what's good and what's not. But hands down, the most important advice would be to work on your short game. I mean, chipping and putting is the most important part of golf. If you want to play at the professional level, at the highest level, become a top 5, number 1 player in the world, it's the difference at every level. I could go play with a high school kid my dad teaches and he could probably hit as far as me. He could draw every once in a while, but if you get me and him around a short game area, I'm probably going to dust him up pretty good. And that's the difference of each level, and that's something my dad always harped on me pretty hard when I was growing up, and I think that's what's helped me a lot getting to where I'm at. Next question is at Matt_Taylor64. Do you have any superstitions, and if so, what are they? I'm weird. I always say I'm not a superstitious person, but then I start explaining everything and people laugh at me and tell me that I am superstitious, so I guess I do. I don't wear orange. That's just because I hate Auburn and Tennessee, so that's pretty self-explanatory. There's certain clothes that I won't wear. If I don't play well on them, I won't wear them anymore. It took me a while to start wearing navy pants again, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and now I started playing well, and I'll wear those again. I don't use Titleist 4s. I'll change ball markers if I'm not putting well. I'll change divot tools if I'm not hitting it well. I'll change gloves if I'm not hitting it well. If I'm watching a sporting game with somebody and it's not going well, I'm probably going to make them leave the room if it's Alabama football. But no, I'm not that superstitious. It's pretty normal. The next question is from at Clayton Chan. What's in your bag? So here's my bag. It's a very easy setup for me. The transition is always easy in going from the equipment that I'm in to the newest equipment. So I mean, I was very fortunate to spend some time with Aaron Dill and Mr. Vokey at some of the tournaments and working with the new SMAs and trying to get those dialed in. So I've been using those for a couple weeks. I'll mess around, a couple tournaments, which has been a couple months, and mess around with the grinds a little bit on the 60. When we get in Florida, I need something that doesn't dig through the grain versus, you get to a Phoenix or a British Open where maybe it's a little firmer and it's not as grainy, to where I can get something that has a little bit more dig, a little less bounce. So that's the kind of stuff that we mess around with. The irons, I'm using the new irons. I've used the MBs, 620s, and I love them. I think they're such a clean look and they go through the turf really well. And I use a T100 4-iron just to get the ball up in the air a little bit. I've gone to a little bit thicker 4-iron probably the last 2 or 3 years. I just feel like the 4-iron is pretty hard to hit, and to get a little bit more forgiveness and help any way it can for me is nice. And then I mostly will use a 5-wood. I go back and forth between the 2-iron and 5-wood, but I love my 5-wood, and that's a club that probably one of my favorite clubs in the bag is an overall consistency standpoint. And then driver 3-wood and the moneymaker, the putter. So that's it. Let's see, the next question is which ball do you play and why? I play the Pro V1X. I've played the X, pretty much since I've been in maybe high school or definitely college, and you're comparing two great things, and just in terms of which one performs better. And for me, that's the Pro V1X, and it gives me the fly that I want. I can work it whichever way I want. I can hit it low, I can hit it high, I can spin it around the greens. Feels good with my putter. It performs under pressure, different surfaces, firmness. So it was a very easy decision for me, and something that I feel like a golf ball that I'll be in for a while. Next question. I apologize, the last question was from @m_ahmad.01. Next question, @d_urance. Why have you always played Titleist? I will try not to go too in depth onto this one because I could go for a while, but I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, just like the first word when I think of Titleist, is they're faithful. I mean, it's consistent. I know these are more than one words, but again, I could just go on and on. It's just, I know what I'm going to get. It's, again, the transition to all the newest equipment is always so easy because, they're never on one end of the spectrum so much. It's always, they're right here at the top, and then the next level, the next thing you come out with is just a little bit closer to the top. So they just keep going above and beyond with everything they come out with, whether it's a golf ball, a glove, an iron, a driver, a putter, whatever it might be, a wedge. It's a very, very easy transition for me, and for when you're playing at the highest level every week, that's something that's extremely important, to have faith in your equipment. Next question is from @Fady_bricks_11. My favorite food. Boy, that's very dependent on the mood. I love mac and cheese. I do. I don't even think I need to go into that one. I love mac and cheese. Next question is @Andy_Rivera42. My favorite sports teams. I'm kind of all over the place on this. I mean, growing up in Louisville, Kentucky, we obviously don't have any professional teams in the state, so I grew up a huge Louisville basketball fan, more so basketball than football. Still pull for them, and then obviously going to Alabama changed that a little bit. So I would say first and foremost, my favorite team is Alabama Crimson Tide and all of their sports, and I'm a diehard, and a lot of people, my friends and family would probably tell you I'm a bad fan, but I prefer to just call it passionate, call it what you will. I think I'm just a big time fan, but I think I've gotten more into across sports just rooting for certain players as opposed to teams. So I love watching NFL, I love watching football. I like watching NHL, got to know some of those guys, same with baseball, so it's fun for me just to watch and kind of appreciate what other athletes are doing in their sport, because it's pretty unbelievable, some of the athletes nowadays. Next question from @Buckeye614, Ohio State. Favorite course and favorite public course. My favorite course, I mean, I love Augusta during the Masters. It's one of a kind. It's just, but also, with all the people and the history and everything, it's tough to compare it to, but I don't know, it's just a course that I never get old going to play, whether it's for fun, in a tournament, a practice round, whatever it might be. I never get sick and tired of playing Augusta National. And favorite public course, I love Pebble Beach. It was set up so well at the U.S. Open last year, although I missed the cut, I still loved it. It's an awesome course. It tests all facets of your game. You got some short. It's a short course overall, but still plays difficult. Small greens, obviously beautiful scenery, so can't beat it. Last question from @TheRealColinJack. My lowest round is a 59 at the Sony Open in Hawaii. So that was a fun day, to say the least. But thank you all very much again for submitting your questions. Hope you all are staying safe during all these times. Hopefully you find some stuff to do. I'm finding some new hobbies around the house. I've probably cleaned more things than I ever thought that I would, and will continue to. But again, thank you again, and talk soon.